You have to challenge yourself to be willing to grow within yourself. And as you're growing within yourself, you have to know that it's going to take time. It's going to take pain. It's going to take a lot of suffering. But what it's going to take is that when you challenge yourself, you're pushing yourself. When you're pushing yourself, you're developing yourself. When you're developing yourself, you are learning more than you can ever imagine because you are challenging yourself to be better, to be great, and evolve within yourself. Because as you're evolving within yourself, you're able to learn more about yourself. You're able to learn more about what you're doing. You're able to learn more about the path that you would like to go on. But in order to go on this path, you have to be willing to challenge yourself. You have to be willing to push yourself. And you have to be willing to find a way to motivate yourself. And it's going to take time. And it's going to also build you up to someone even better that can handle the pressure, that can handle what you are not expecting. Because as you are not expecting to handle the challenge, you have to be willing to challenge yourself. Hey, what's going on, everybody? If this is your first time here, welcome to another episode of Failure is Knowledge Podcast. Here at Failure is Knowledge, we speak about personal development, marketing tips, and podcasting strategies. Today, we're speaking about marketing strategies and how you can start implementing it today for yourself. And since this is your first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that way you can be engaged with the conversation that's going to come in future references. So I want to write on the board, challenge yourself, because in order to learn more, you have to be willing to go through something. You have to be willing to observe what you are going through and know that you are going through it so you can grow through it. You can only grow through it when you challenge yourself. I'm going to say challenge yourself. That's what today's video is all about. Challenge yourself. That's what today's podcast is all about. You have to challenge yourself. And you have to be willing to push yourself just a little bit. Because as you're pushing yourself, you're encouraging yourself. As you are building the encouragement within yourself, now you're able to see why you're able to do this for yourself. I just looked in the camera. You can't really necessarily see this. I'm going to rewrite it again with a blue marker. Maybe you can potentially see it with the blue marker, so the red one is too bright. That mother too bright. Hold on. We the boys. Not even a Cowboys fan. Challenge. Forgot how to spell challenge. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. Okay, yeah, that's a little better. That's a little better right there. Yeah. So the reason why this topic the reason why I thought about this topic and wanted to speak about it more is that I've been identifying the type of challenges that I've been on, the type of challenges that I've been putting myself through, the type of challenges that I had to go through and endure, and see what I've learned by just really putting myself in different situations, different positions, different conversations. I'm able to learn more than I can ever imagine because it's teaching me more information that I wasn't even prepared to learn. And so as I'm preparing myself to challenge myself, I have to know that I'm challenging to chase my goal. My goal is something that I have on my mind, that I have on my thought, that I just been thinking about. And as I'm thinking about it, I have to be willing to not only push myself, but identify why I'm pushing myself. I saw this video with Jim Rohn, and he was just explaining that when you ask yourself why, now he was like, write this down. He was like, start asking yourself, what is my why? Start asking yourself, why can it be me? Start asking yourself, why can I be the one that bring value to others? And so as I'm watching this video, it's really giving me some type of I'm listening, but it's giving me a different perspective because you have to be willing to ask yourself these questions. Why can I be successful? Why can I succeed? Why can I make an impact? I started to ask myself this question a half a decade ago, and I've been trying to figure out what the question even was. Why me? Why can I do it? Why can the next person be great at it and I can't even be as good at it? So it wasn't the fact that I was saying why not me. It was saying why I couldn't do it. Why I can't do it? Because I don't have what they have. I don't have the head start that they have. And so the challenge to challenge yourself, you have to be willing to understand that you have to be willing to push yourself. You have to be willing to find a way that's going to encourage what you are doing. So when I started working out, when I was in high school, the different workouts that we were doing, it was hitting different parts of my body. My biceps, my arms, my biceps, my shoulders, my forearm, this part right here, my chest, my core. Like every workout wasn't the same. It was different. And how can you remain different if you are doing the same thing as others? And so when we was working out together, we was hitting our weights. We was working out in the workout room. We was doing bench, we was doing squats, we was doing incline press, we was doing push press, we was doing all these different types of workout. And as we doing these different types of workout, we just building our body up. At least I thought that's what we was doing. We was building our body up. What we was actually doing was that we was challenging ourselves. We were pushing ourselves. Because as we was pushing ourselves, we were able to see what we can do. We were able to see what we can live. We were able to see what we can do for ourselves. And so they had a club, like the 800 club, 800-pound club, 1,000-pound club, and a 1,500-pound club. First of all, the 1,500-pound club was ridiculous. There was a lot of people, not even a lot, maybe 5 to 7 people who were in that group. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't that many. And so people was actually strong. And so as we are in the gym working now, the club that I got in was an 800-pound club. As I got in this 800-pound club, I was able to push myself just to lift a little bit more weights. Not as much as everybody else, not as much as the 1,500 or the 1,000-pound, but I was willing to push myself enough to where I can build the strength up, to where I can build myself up, to where I can challenge myself. You see, the first point I want to hit on is that you have to have a goal that you want to accomplish. You have to have a goal, have a goal. You have to have a goal that you would like to chase, because when you identify the type of goal that you would like to chase, that you would like to accomplish, that you would like to have, is that you have to identify what you would like to do. I had my mind set on the 800-pound club, and that's what I got, the 800-pound club. It wasn't the fact that I wasn't strong, because 800 pounds is a lot. It was more so, I just had to push myself just a little bit further. Had to challenge myself to not only do my weight, but to increase the weight just a little bit so I can get better. See, when you challenge yourself and push yourself, you're getting better. How can you get better if you're not willing to challenge yourself? So it started in high school when I was willing to compete against myself. I wasn't competing against everybody else. I wanted to challenge myself to see what can I do, to see how can I do it, see how much can I even attempt. And so when I stopped trying to compete with others, don't get me wrong, competition is good, because this is how you build like your team and your people that's around you. You compete amongst each other. And then when everybody leaves, you have to continue to compete against yourself. So when I was learning how to compete against myself, I had to challenge myself, because I had to be willing to be motivated by myself. I had to learn how to motivate myself and identify what I was doing and why it mattered and the importance behind it. And what it taught me is that it matters what you do, and it even matters when you are able to develop more within yourself. When you develop more, you're not only learning, you're challenging yourself to learn what you are doing. And when you are learning what you are doing, you are able to identify how you are doing it. And so it taught me that as I'm in the gym working out my different body parts, my different parts of my body, I have to have a goal that I would like to accomplish. I have to have a skill that I would like to pay attention to. I would have to have something that I can challenge myself for. When I tore my ACL in my senior year, my 4th game in my senior year, I tore my ACL, and I had to challenge myself to do the exercises. And so the exercises was so painful, it was so crucial, because I had to learn how to walk, I had to learn how to run, and I had to build trust in my leg from the muscle and the workouts that I was doing. So it was challenging to learn how to run, to learn how to walk, to learn how to use my leg all over, because it was something that challenged me. It challenged me because I never had an injury like that. Yes, I got hit hard a couple times. I played football. Whoever played football or sports in general, there's a possibility you can get hurt. And so when I tore my ACL and my meniscus, my whole world changed, because now my challenge was different. My challenge was completely internal, was completely within me, was completely for me or because of me. And so when I was alone with my ACL, trying to sit on the machine, as I'm sitting on the machine is kind of like massaging my leg, but it's moving itself. I remember laying on the couch. When I had surgery, and my knee was just in pain. My knee was just throbbing. My knee wasn't my knee, because it didn't have no muscle. It didn't have no mass. And it certainly didn't have no strength within it. So as I'm laying there in the couch, I was laying on the couch with the machine at first. It was so painful. It was so painful to even challenge myself, because I'm sleeping on this couch. I'm sleeping with my leg in this machine, and as I'm trying to go to sleep, I'm laying on my back, but I can't sleep long enough because my leg is hurting. So during the process of my ACL recovery, my meniscus recovery, I had a goal that I was gonna do the exercises that my physical therapist told me to do. So they told me to do one exercise where I had to hang off the bed. Like half my body was on the bed, so I had to hang off my bed and let my legs just hang. And then my legs just hanging. How they explained to me is that when my legs are hanging, gravity is pulling it down. So I don't necessarily have to do any exercise. I don't necessarily have to strengthen this muscle just yet. You just have to strengthen this muscle just yet. You just have to lay on your bed and let your legs drop. And as I'm laying my legs drop, it is painful. So I have to challenge myself to keep doing it. My goal is to do the exercises that the doctor has recommended for me to do. And if I don't do the exercises, I'm not going to get better. If I don't challenge myself, I don't improve. If I don't accept the challenge, I won't get better. And so when I was going through the recovery of my ACL tear, my ACL meniscus tear, and I had to go through it because I had to grow through it. You see, when you challenge yourself, you're willing to accept a new goal. You're willing to accept a new accomplishment. You're willing to accept a new target that you would like to achieve. And so even though I was going to therapy, it got repetitive. It got annoying. Had to go to therapy like every week, twice a week. And it was annoying because I had to keep doing it. Especially if I want to continue to walk. I had to keep showing up. You see, when you challenge yourself, you have to keep showing up even when times are hard. Even when challenges appear and you don't even know how to handle it. I remember one time we had got out of school, and during this time I had went back to school on my crutches. And it was hard for me to even walk because I had to get used to using the crutches. And as I'm getting used to the crutches, I have to learn how to move my leg, how to walk with my leg and not baby my leg. So I'm challenging myself to use my leg because I'm recovering from an ACL meniscus tear. And as I'm learning how to re-walk on these crutches, the crutches is here to help me. You see, when you challenge yourself, you have to get somebody that's going to help you. You have to get something that's going to help you. You have to be around people that's going to help you. Because when you have help, you can do and do more than you think. Because the people that are around you are pushing you. The people around you are encouraging you. The people around you are showing that you're doing the right thing. And as you're doing the right thing, you have to keep doing the right thing. Because when you challenge yourself, this is the right thing for you. Because you're able to learn, you're able to grow, you're able to establish a new way of thinking for yourself, because the way that you're thinking is helping you improve more than you can ever imagine, more than you can ever think, because it's showing you that you are on the right path. See, when you challenge yourself, you have to have a goal of what this challenge is going to do for me. See, when I was on my crutches and I was limping around, I still remember the brace, because I'll be going to different places. I'll be seeing that brace, and I resonate with the person who just got the brace, because I had the brace. You see, I challenged myself, and for me to challenge myself, I had to be willing to recover myself. But it was painful. It wasn't easy. It wasn't an overnight success, because I had to keep going to therapy. I had to keep going to get help. I had to keep trying to figure it out when I was challenging myself even more. My goal and my what I was working towards never left me, because I knew if I didn't do my exercise, my leg would not be the same. If I didn't do the exercise, my leg won't improve. If I didn't do the exercise, my ACL, my meniscus recovery won't recover as much as it need to, because I wasn't doing the work that I would like to do. You see, sometimes you have to do things that you do not like to do to understand that you're challenging yourself to get better. How do you get better if you're always doing things that you don't like? I know. I remember my mama when I was younger. My mama who was a single mother who raised 3 boys by herself. I remember when I was younger, she made us eat okra, and it was my first time eating it. And the first time I ate it, I did not like it. And I just told her, I was like, yeah, I really don't like this okra, because the okra is really nasty. Like, I'm young, I didn't say it the exact way, but I'm saying it in a way where I'm like, Mama, this nasty. This nasty. I don't like the texture of it in my mouth. And so, as I was eating the okra, I was challenging myself to speak up and say, I don't like this. I don't like this okra. When you are able to speak up about what you are doing, the challenge becomes more doable, because you can push yourself even more. You can push yourself even more because you are the one that's challenging yourself. You are the one that's accepting what you're doing and identify how to do it differently. You see, my therapist told me that when you're at home, my physical therapist told me when you're at home, you have to be willing to do these exercises, because if you don't do these exercises, your range won't be good. And by range, I'm saying the range of motion, how far you move your arm, how far you move your leg, how far you can move your fingers. It's called a range of motion, because the motion that you're moving is based off the range that you have built within the strength. Your strength has to come from your challenge when no one is there in front of you, when no one is around you to encourage you, because you have to be willing to encourage yourself. You see, I had to challenge myself to learn how to encourage myself, because it was painful, it hurt, and it was brutal. But the pain is only temporary when you keep challenging yourself, when you keep improving, when you keep finding ways to be better and be great, and discover new ways that's going to make you be better. A challenge helps you identify the way you would like to be great, right? Because when you challenge yourself, you're not only challenging yourself, you're encouraging yourself. You're showing that you can do something as you're putting your mind to it. It might not happen as soon as possible. It might not happen as soon as you would like for it to think, but it's going to come. It's going to be a moment in time when it comes, and as it's coming, you're going to see that you're doing the right thing. You're going to be able to say that my goal that I've set for myself, I'm able to accomplish it, because I'm willing to challenge myself. I'm willing to challenge myself. I remember when I was playing church ball. I played church ball in my small town, Little Rock, Arkansas. We played for I think it was Greatest Second Baptist or something like that. And we played for this church. So I'm challenging myself to get better. I'm challenging myself to be active. I'm challenging myself to even try to be on the team. So I ended up making it on the team. And as I made it on the team, I'm playing basketball, but I wasn't that good at playing basketball. I'm trying to lay up the ball, but I'm constantly missing in the layups. I'm trying to dribble, but the way I'm dribbling is not good, because the ball just get taken and the other team just go score. But I'm trying to challenge myself to get better. And so as I was playing basketball at a young age, the skills and knowledge that I had was very minimal, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. The challenge was to get on the basketball court. The goal was accomplished because I got on the basketball court. Man, when I got on this basketball court, I wasn't that great at playing basketball. And so what I was aware of and what I was learning is that when you make your mind to challenge yourself, you have to know that you are not going to be great. You have to know that you're not going to be good. You have to know that it's going to take time for you to actually get good. And so I remember when I was playing basketball, not for greatest second Baptist, but for like a pickup game, and it was a even number. It was 5-on-5, so I was able to get picked up. I still wasn't good, but I got picked up because it was a 5-on-5. I probably been like the second to last pick or last pick. I wasn't good in basketball, but I'm challenging myself to play with the people who are around me, to play basketball. And so I remember this one time I had got the steal, and I'm going down the court. As I'm going down the court, I try to lay up the ball, and I missed. I said, "Man, I was wide open. I wasn't good, but I was challenging myself." You see, when you challenge yourself, you have to be willing to embarrass yourself. Life is going to show you as you are embarrassing yourself. Someone will come and help you, not so you don't embarrass yourself, but you can get better over time. And so as I was playing, I got a couple of advice like, "Hey man, stop trying to do and dribble so much. Just go to the basket. Just the basket right there. You can't dribble that good. You're not that great. You just go to the basket." And so challenging yourself is so important because you have to know that when you write a goal down, when you see and have a burning desire to do something, this burning desire will never leave you because it's going to stay within you until it come out. And so to have your burning desire, to have a challenge that you would like to achieve, a goal that you would like to accomplish, you have to be willing to challenge yourself. You have to be willing to take that leap of faith and jump when you are afraid. I remember when I was in the Marine Corps, we did the swim test. So it was 5 different tests that you had to do. One was like taking off the gear underneath the water. The second was like swimming 25 meters with full gear. Like all this is in full gear. And then the next one was in like you have to jump on the bag and swim with the bag. And then when you swim on the bag, you have to the next one was treading water, which means you have to float on the water. And then the last one was like you had to jump off the diving board. I think that was the last one. And so when I was in boot camp, the week of swim crawl, that's what it's called. The week of swim crawl is when you go crawl or have a qualification of swimming. And so when we're in this training, I wasn't nervous. I felt good about it. I felt like I can swim. You know, my mom, who was a single parent, a single mother raising 3 boys by herself, She taught us how to swim by just throwing us in the water. So I had a basic understanding of how to swim, of how to survive. Because my mama used to throw us in the water and used to play shark. And used to play shark. She was like, "All right, I'm gonna throw y'all in the water. When I get in the water, I gotta hurry up and get out the water, unless I'm the shark." You know what I mean? Like I'm the shark. And so when I was younger, she threw us in the water. So my confidence got built. Every time she threw us in the water, I was able to swim so fast. And the shark, my mama wasn't able to get me because she was like, "If I throw y'all in the water and I get in the water and I get y'all gonna get out the water and not get back in." See, I want to keep having fun, so I want to keep getting in the water. So how can I get away from the shark, aka my mama? See, my mama, who was a single parent of raising 3 boys, she taught us that when you are challenging yourself, you have to be willing to push yourself. You see, my mama was pushing us just a little bit to know that when you swim, you're not only swimming, you're saving your life. You're challenging yourself. And so when I was in the Marine Corps, we was in the swim crawl, the swim qualification, getting qual to swim. I'm thinking I know how to swim. I'm thinking my swimming skills is good because my mother taught me how to swim. My mama taught me how to swim. And so when I get to the swim test, I have to challenge myself because one, it's cold in there. Just imagine you got on like all your clothes, all your clothes. I wasn't used to wearing all the clothes when you go swimming. Anywho, just imagine you have all your clothes on. You get in the water. And then you get out the water. And then just imagine that the air is blowing. Like the AC is on. Like the AC is kicking. Like the AC is, you can feel it. And so it's cold. Your body is wet because of your clothes. And your clothes is wet. And it's constantly, the air is like constantly reminding you that you're wet. And so when I jumped in the water, and they told us, they gave us a demonstration on what to do and how to go about doing it. Seeing the demonstration wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Like, this is how you're supposed to swim. This is how you tread the water. This is how you can save your life. Like, they gave us called a safety brief, like a class before the challenge. And when they gave us a safety brief or a class, now it's up to us to do the challenge. Now, if you fail, you have to come back and do it again. And so when we went up to a 25-meter diving board, we had to take a full 30-inch step, which means a full step. We had to take a full step and jump in the water with our hands crossed just like this. And so when it was my turn, I'm cold. The challenge is going and remaining in a positive and remain and keep thinking in a positive way while I'm about to face this challenge. It wasn't the fact that the height was scary. It was more so I was cold. I was freezing. And so when he told me, he was like, okay, cross your arms. He said, cross your arms. He said, okay, look up. I looked up. He said, now take a full 30-inch step. I'm like, okay. But I didn't take it yet. I didn't take it yet because I'm trying to figure out how to take this 30-inch step. And this 30-inch step is just a step. And so I'm trying to figure out how to take it. And so when I look up and don't take it, he was like, take a full 30-inch step. He repeated himself. So I'm like, all right, cool. So when I took the 30-inch step, what I didn't recognize was that when I was stepping out on faith. And when I learned that when you step out on faith, sometimes you're going to fall and hit the water. But when you hit the water, you can come back up because you survived. You faced the challenge because your goal was to take that leap of faith. When you take that leap of faith, you're not only starting to believe in yourself, you're recognizing that when you fall, it's not the end of the world. When you challenge yourself, it's the beginning of the world, because when you fall, you can only get back up. You see, when you dive in the water, you can only go to one way, which is up. And as you're getting up, you're able to catch your breath just a little bit more. You're able to regain your strength because as you went down water, you have to hold your breath. And as you come back up out of water, you have to know that you're building yourself. You're building your strength because you can regain your breath. You see, that wasn't the hardest part. It was taking that leap of faith. And then when I hit that water, it was like, oh, I'm not as cold no more. You see, sometimes in life, you have to be willing to challenge yourself by taking that leap of faith when you have no idea what the outcome is going to be. When you have no idea what you are pursuing, and understand that when you have a goal, what you're pursuing gets brought to life. Gets brought to life because you are pushing yourself. You are taking that leap, and as you're taking that leap, you're not only believing in your step, but you're believing in every step after that. You're believing in every step after that because you're able to see what you are able to do. You're able to believe in how you're able to do it. Because it matters with what you do, just like it matters with how you do it. See, I want to look up the definition of goals because your goals matter. And to recognize goals is that we have to identify what they are. So goals can be personal or business related, and they can be set to help you achieve your objectives. So let me go to a simple definition. Simple definition is, in football, the object of a person's ambition or effort and aim or desired result. So when I took that leap of faith, my desired goal was to jump in the water, was to jump in the pool, was to jump and pass the test. When I challenged myself, I was willing to accept the work that needed to be done. You see, the next point I want to hit on is that you have to have a goal. Next, you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to do the work, because if you don't do the work, nothing's going to come from that. You have to be willing to do the work. Willing to do the work. Have to be willing to do the work, because the work matters. The work matters, and it matters because you're able to do something while you're pursuing your goal. You're able to focus on something while you're able to manage your goal. You see, the challenge is understanding that it takes time, but as it's taking time, you're getting better. Right? I remember when I was younger and we went to paintball. It was my first time going to paintballing, and it was so fun because it was like we haven't done it before. It was our first time going, and as we was going, it was our first time going to paintball, and the paintball, it was fun because it was in a different area. It was in a different place. And so when we get there, we get our equipment. We get our helmet. We get our rifle, our airsoft, and we get the paintballs. The paintballs is like little circles, and then you get them and put them in top of the place where you put the air balls, not air balls, but paintballs. And so what I didn't recognize was that the paintballs was actually paint inside of a ball. And so when I paid attention to it, it was like in a plastic bag. And so I'm squeezing it. And then the paintball just busts. You can see the paintball because it's no longer a circle. I said, oh, so when the ball hits someone, it splatters. And so when we went to the paintball and we start to battle against each other, what happened was that I'm learning how to use the paintball gun. I'm learning how to use it, and then when I was younger, I played Call of Duty a couple of times, but playing the game and playing in real life is completely different. And so as I'm aiming the paintball gun, I shoot somebody. As I shoot somebody with the paintball gun, they got me. I said, oh, this kind of hurt. I remember my buddy, he got shot with the paintball like 5 times, but he kept getting up. You see, when you challenge yourself, you have to keep getting up. It's not the fact that you're not good. It's more so how many times can you get hit. I got hit one time and I'm like, God, dog, that hurt. So I was out the game. But my buddy, he got hit with the paintball like maybe 5 different times. But he kept moving. He kept figuring it out. He kept showing up in a way where if he's going to get hit, let him get hit while he's moving. I was in one place, and as I had the paintball gun, I'm trying to shoot with the paintball gun, and I'm only in one place, but I'm not moving. You see, when you challenge yourself, you have to be willing to move to know that you can hit your goal while you're aiming at the target. Because it shows that you're willing to do the work. In order to win in paintballing, you have to use the paintball to hit others. In order to hit others, you have to be willing to aim, to move, to look, to view, to hide. Because if you're not doing all those things, if you're not doing the work is going to come to you because the opposite team will be moving, hiding, and sliding because they can get closer to you. You see, when you challenge yourself, you have to be willing to push yourself. In order to push yourself, you have to be willing to move yourself. And the reason why that's so incredible is because when you move yourself, you're moving in a way that's going to help you identify the path that you're on. Identify a new location that you are around. I remember when I was younger, and we went over my friend's house, over my buddy's house, and then we went over our buddy's house. They stayed close to their apartments had woods or something like that, and so we was kids, and it was like maybe 4 or 5 of us. And I remember one time we went to the park to go fishing, and as we went to the park to go fishing, it was a warm day. It was a cool day, and I remember my grandmother and my grandpa, they They was fishermen. So I remember cleaning the fish, like getting a spoon and cleaning the fish and taking the scales off. I remember cleaning it like that. I remember my grandpa taught me how to hold the fish so that way you don't poke yourself and cut yourself with their fins. You have to hold it a specific way. But now you have to clean the fish. And then once you clean the fish, now you can actually eat the fish after it's cooked. And so I was used to holding the fish and cleaning the fish and cutting the fish in half and cleaning out the guts. I remember doing that. And I also understood that in order to have dinner, which we went to go fish, we had to be willing to clean, cut, and cook it. Because if you're not willing to clean, cut, and cook this fish, you can't eat. And so when my friends went to go fishing, when me and my buddies went to go fishing, I had that knowledge within my mind from my grandpa and how we went fishing and how we caught some and how he went fishing and caught a lot of fishes. Well, he taught us how to clean it. And so I'm like, all right, cool. I don't necessarily want to fish. Like, I don't want to hold the pole and just wait for the fishes to come and then like they take forever to get there. And so when we was there, as we was fishing, just having fun. We had our hooks. We hooked the bait. The bait is like the worms, the food that the fishes eat. So we hooking it, we set it up, put the string through the hook, and as we put the string through the hook, now we tied it up, make sure the hook is on tight. We tied up, and now we're ready. We got our fishing poles, and they reel it in. They throw the rod out there. And so when they throw the rod out there, the line is not as steady, it's not as strong because it's too loose. So what you have to do when you throw the fish, throw the rod out there in the beginning, you have to reel it in just a little bit so the line can have some strength behind it. So the line can have some power behind it. So the line can face the challenge for when the fish get on the hook, the line is prepared for it. And so when I understood that you really have to reel it in and then get the line correct, you have to be patient. Because the fishes might not bite the first bait. And then you're waiting 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, then you reel the hook back in and there's nothing there. And then once you reel the hook back in and do the process all over, you get another piece of worm and you put it on the worm and then you throw it out and then now you just wait. You see, when you're challenging yourself, you have to be willing to just wait. Because when you're waiting, you never know what's going to come. So as we're fishing, we're waiting for a fish to bite, mainly like a bass, what is it called? Maybe a catfish, but mainly a bass. We was only focused on the bass, the small ones. And so as we're waiting, for some reason, I was the one fishing. As I'm waiting, I had the rod, and as I had the rod, I start to see the line, the weight that's on the hook go down. And as it's going down, I'm thinking to myself, like, I got something. I'm thinking to myself, I got something. So I start to reel it in. See, as I'm reeling it in, I'm reeling it in a little bit faster because the line was able to face the challenge. The line was able to hold the weight. The line was able to handle the challenge that came. So as I'm reeling in, as I'm going as fast as I can, I'm going, I'm reeling, I'm going, I'm reeling. And then finally, the fish came out the water. And the fish that came out the water was a catfish. It was a pregnant catfish at that. And when I caught the fish, I didn't know how to get it off the hook. You see, when you challenge yourself, you have to be willing to know that you can't get off the hook. Because when you are putting yourself out there, when you are putting and testing the waters, the challenges are going to come to you. Will know that if your hook is good, if your bait is good, if your line is good, the challenge that you are facing will show that you are able to stand the pressure. You see, the reason why you have to be willing to do the work, because when I caught the fish, I had to do the work prior to me catching the fish. I had to set the line up. I had to reorganize the line with the fishing rod. I had to get the bait with the worms. I had to get the bait with the other food that we was using. I had to get the line and the hook and connect the hook and the line together, because as I'm connecting the line and the hook together, I'm giving it support. I'm giving it support. So that way, when I throw something out there, when I throw this rod out there, when I throw this line out there, I'm able to see how this line is being affected. How I'm able to see if this line is strong enough to hold the challenges on the other side. And so the work that has to be done is the preparation work. You see, when you challenge yourself, you have to be willing to prepare what you're doing. You have to be willing to be more prepared than you can ever prepare, because when you are more prepared, you are never prepared. Wait. Oh, that was almost good. When you are prepared, that was good how I said that. When you are prepared, you never have to worry about being unprepared, because you are in preparation every single day. See, when you are challenging yourself, you are pushing yourself. When you are pushing yourself, you are developing yourself. When you are developing yourself, you're growing within yourself. And so what I didn't recognize was that when I had the right rod, I had the right line, I had the right bait. When I threw it in the water and I caught the catfish, more precisely the pregnant catfish, I was able to catch it because of the work that I did prior to me stepping up and throwing it in the water. Throwing that rod in the water, I had to be willing to really accept the work of preparation. The work of preparation matters because it shows how you are prepared for the challenge. The challenge that you will go through will push you. The challenge that you go through will surprise you. The challenge that you go through will hook you in a way where you're constantly trying to figure this one thing out. And there's one thing that you're figuring out. You're constantly learning more about it. You're constantly doing it. You're constantly evolving. See, what the challenge does is that it pushes you more than you can ever imagine. It pushes you in a way where you're not expecting to be challenged. And as it's challenging you, you have to be willing to know that you can be better on the other side. You can be better on the other side. And so I remember we was the next time we went fishing, I'm thinking I'm going to get the same results. I'm thinking I'm going to catch a pregnant catfish. And I'm catching a pregnant catfish. I think I'm going to be great. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I think it's going to be special. So we go out there. Last time we went fishing, I had great success because I caught a pregnant catfish. And when we caught the pregnant catfish, it was like it gave me a boost of motivation, a boost of self-esteem, a boost of, yeah, you're doing something right. And so this time I wasn't fishing, but I was standing on the side. I was standing on the side of my buddies and we was fishing. And so when my buddy, he threw the rod in, he did the preparation. He had the fishing pole. We reeled the line in, made sure it was tight, made sure it was good. He had the hook on it, he had the weight on it, and he threw the line in the water. So now we're waiting. Now we see like a tug, because there's a weight that you put on the line. Now there's a tug. There's a tug that's going down in the water, right? And so we're like, oh, we got a fish, bro. We got a fish. So he starts to reel it in. And then since I'm on this side, I'm on the right side, I'm able to I'm looking at the line, but there's something else right behind this line. So as my buddy is reeling the line in, I'm seeing something that's moving as fast as we're reeling. Then I'm like, I don't think that's the fish we're looking for. And so he's reeling it in, and as he get closer, I start to see how fast a snake was going. The snake was trying to get our food because we caught the fish from our bait. But the snake wanted our food. And so as we was reeling it in, I'm looking, I say, hey man, that's a snake. I say, hey man, he didn't believe me. I'm looking directly at it because a snake move a certain type of way. I say, hey bro, that's a snake. I said, man, that's a snake. What we did is that we dropped the rod, we dropped the fishing pole, and we took off running. You see, sometimes when you challenge yourself, you have to be willing to stop and run to know that you are going to be okay. To know that what you are expecting to come won't come, because it will be an obstacle that's going to stop you right in front of it. It's going to be it's going to be adversity that you're not familiar with, because as you're reeling in what you think the fish is, what you think the prize is, what you think the goal is, it's completely different, because right behind it is a challenge that's following right. It's a challenge that's coming right behind it. You see, to what I say, to challenge yourself, you have to know that you can't prepare for everything. But when everything come at you, how do you handle everything? And so I was willing to observe the fish, my buddies, and really just pay attention to what and how everything was going. And so as I'm paying attention, somebody's paying attention. One person is paying attention to the rod. Other person is paying attention to the surrounding. Other person is paying attention to the food, to the bait. Other people are doing different things. And so when one person's attention is on the current challenge, when you get around others, they see things that you can't put together. They notice things that you can't think of. They think of things that you're not familiar with, because you're just focused on the challenge. You see, the challenge is not bad. Yet when you get people that surround you, that see what you're struggling with, that see how they can help you, your challenge becomes more doable, because now they're helping you along your path. They're helping you discover new answers. They're helping you find new information. You see, help, when you get around help makes the challenge even better. That's the last point I want to hit on, is that help makes the challenge even better. Have to be willing to do the work. And the last one is be okay with help. Not be okay. I'm gonna say get help. Get help. Get help. Get help. I'm not saying get help in a bad way. What I am saying is that you have to get help in a way that's going to help you continue to accept the challenge and develop even more. Because when you are accepting what you are doing, how you are doing it changes, because people are able to guide you along the path, guide you along the route. I remember when I was attending the University of South Florida, and as I'm attending the University of South Florida, I was in this English Composition 2 class. And so when I'm in this class, she's teaching us about the annotated bibliography. And so we have to type the paper, but throughout the process, she's guiding us along the path. Like, okay, for this week, this is what we're going to be working on. We're going to be looking up different resources, where to find it, how to go about finding the correct ones. And as we're doing that, I'm going to guide you along the way. Like, I'm here with you. See, it might be challenging, but for someone who has already completed it, the challenge is not that bad, yet you still have to do the work, which makes it even more doable, because you have somebody to guide you. You have somebody to ask questions from too. You have somebody that will help you along your process, because when you face a new challenge, what you don't know outweighs what you know, because you only know just a limited amount of information. The information you know is not going to be enough for you to get to the next place, for you to get to the next phase, because you have to learn more of what you're doing. And so as we're writing this annotated bibliography, she's telling us, okay, for this week, you're going to look up different research papers that you can read, different articles, different journals, different scholar papers. And so as you're doing that, next class, we're going to discuss what you found. So when you are going through the challenge, when you face the challenge, the people that you are around will help you see things that you're not familiar with. Will help you improve in ways that your challenge will become less stressful. Now, as you continue along, as we continue along doing the paper from week 1, week 2, week 4, week 6, so on and so forth, we're able to progress at a pace that we're meant to follow. When you challenge yourself, you have to be willing to pace at a level that you can handle, so you can accomplish the goal that you have in mind. Because if you try to go too fast, if you try to skip steps, if you try to have it tomorrow, you will miss it because of the things that you don't know. So when I really start to learn and be more aware of what I was doing, how I was doing it was completely different because I became open to asking questions. I became open to asking for guidance. I became open to asking for help. I remember when I did my first podcast. It wasn't the camera wasn't on me. I wasn't talking to nobody. I was just talking to the microphone and my computer. And as I was speaking, I was like, okay, this is my introduction back in the day when I started. I was like, don't judge me now. Don't judge me. I was like, what's going on, my brothers and sisters around the world? It's your boy, Terrell Humphrey. Hello, I'm sorry. I was like, what's going on around the world, my brothers and sisters? What's going on around the world, my brothers and sisters? It's your boy, Terrell Humphrey. Bullish T. Failure's knowledge, Bullish T, and Terrell Humphrey. See, where I got the name of Bullish T from was optimistic. Like bullish is a synonym of optimistic. So I was like, ooh, I like that. I can't really spell optimistic, but I can pronounce bullish. And so when I was when I had the introduction, I had my first podcast, and I was talking, I was communicating, I was sharing, I was exploring who I was. I was connecting who I was because I wanted to learn more about what I was doing. Prior to me starting my first podcast, I learned about podcasting. And so when I made my mind up to actually do it, I accepted a new challenge to start sharing my voice, start sharing my message, to start sharing who I was. So I had to get comfortable with the process. I had to get comfortable with recording. I had to get comfortable with showing up as my true self. When you show up as your true self, the challenge that you are facing will be overwhelming because you have to learn how to be yourself to handle the challenge. You see, when you get help, you're getting guidance along the way. It's going to help you identify the steps that you need to follow, the tasks that you need to complete, and why you're completing something in a particular way. Because it shows that you're willing to learn. When you get help, the challenging is less daunting. The challenging is less stressful because the thing that stops a lot of people is the don't know. Like, I don't know how to start a podcast. I don't know how to talk on camera. I don't know how to be confident. The don't know stops a lot of people because we lose confidence within ourselves to say we can build up to the know, to build up to the know-how. Because when you know how, you learn better. When you learn better, you do better. When you do better, you understand better because the challenge is here in front of you every single day. But the challenges get appeared differently every single day. It's not going to be the same challenge that you're facing. It's not going to be the same obstacle that you're going through. Every adversity has a new challenge to be accepted from the one that's going through it. Because if you went through nothing, you wouldn't be able to handle everything. If you experience something, there's something that you went through is going to help you recognize the type of challenge that you are going to be facing. You can't be great. However, you can become great over time by practicing and preparing every single day. Like, for instance, right now I have 3 lights on me, 4 lights in the back. And typically when I go live and make videos, I turn the AC on so that way I don't get hot as I'm recording. Today, unfortunately, I forgot to turn the AC on, so as I'm recording, I'm getting a little bit hot. So it's a challenge for me not to move so much so I don't get hot. See, for me to recognize what the issue was, I had to really just sit down with myself and understand, like, why am I getting hot? Is the air not on? I'm asking myself questions. I'm helping myself. At this time, I can only help myself because I just can't call nobody because I'm live. You know what I mean? What I can do is that I can observe the situation. And then as I'm observing the situation, if I wasn't able to come to a conclusion or find a way to solve this issue, I will call somebody and ask for help. Asking for help is not bad because it shows that you are willing to learn. You are willing to prepare. You are willing to develop. If developing means that you have to accept a new challenge every single day, that's what it should be, because every single day you have to accept a new challenge. Because it shows that you're willing to push yourself. You're able to establish yourself. You're willing to develop yourself. You see, when you challenge yourself, it's not going to be easy. Excuse me. When you push yourself, it's not going to be easy as you think it's going to be. I remember in middle school, I went to take Spanish. So I took Spanish. And when I took Spanish, I wasn't really grasping or understanding like the words or the meaning of the sentences. And so as I'm there trying to observe it, I can't observe it because I'm not fully understanding and fully comprehending what the language was. And as I got older, I'm like, okay, I'm going to commit to learning Spanish. As I commit to learning Spanish, what do I need to do? Okay, let me download the app. Let me download the Spanish app. And so when I download the Spanish app, the app that I'm getting, the help that I'm receiving is from the app. I have a goal to learn Spanish, and as I'm learning Spanish, I have to be willing to go to the source. You see, when you challenge yourself, you have to be willing to go to the source to learn the information. Because if you're going to someone who has the information, the challenge becomes less stressful because now you're in the know. You're in the know more than you in the don't know. I remember I went to this JLTV course, and what a JLTV course is a military vehicle and joint JL limited, something like that. Hold on. Rather than me guessing, let me just show it. Rather than me guessing, let me show it. JLTV. Yep. Now I went to this course to learn how to drive this truck. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All the other military vehicles, I think this is the best one, in my personal opinion. And so when I was learning the JLTV and the capabilities of it, it was a challenge because it was something new for me. It was a challenge because, yes, I see it, but to physically be in it is challenging. But to physically be in this driver's seat is challenging. And only 4 people can sit in it. 1 in the front, 1 in the passenger seat, and 2 in the back. And so when I was sitting in the military vehicle, the JLTV, I was sitting, but I wasn't driving. And so the challenge was staying awake because it was boring driving in the back seat. Like it was hard. It was more hard. It was more difficult to stay up while not driving than driving, because when you're driving, you can actually pay attention to what you're doing. Furthermore, as I got in the seat and I got used to pressing the buttons, and learning the vehicle. As I'm learning this vehicle, I'm gaining more confidence. I'm gaining more awareness, and the challenge is not as daunting, it's not as overwhelming as it was when I first sat in it. When I first sat in the truck. And so when I sat in the JLTV truck, it was completely different from what you're learning in the book to how you're learning out the book. And then when you implement what you're learning, now you have to see how valuable information is. And so now that I'm at the course, I'm at the source that's teaching and helping me. When I get stuck in a situation, I'm able to ask a question. When I get stuck in a position that I'm in, I don't fully understand, I can ask. I remember this one time we went to the beach. Like the JLTV has multiple different capabilities. We drove on the beach. And as we're driving on the beach, we're probably going 25 miles per hour. We're not speeding. We're not going fast. We're doing turns. We're doing in and out. We're doing turns. And it's really fun. And quite honestly, it's really fun. And then as we're doing the turns, the instructor tell me to go to the water. Not actually like all the way in the water, but he tell me go to the water, just ride along the coast. Ride along the coast. And then when you ride along the coast, you're going to go back up to where we was at. And so I do that. And so when I do that, I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. He was like, all right, now go back. So now that I'm riding along the beach, close to the water, not all the way in the water, but like close to the water, he told me to turn my wheel and go up the hill. And as I'm going up the hill, I get stuck on the hill. So now our truck was like, it was stuck. It was stuck. Like the wheels was in the sand. And so the first thing I knew how to do was just press the gas. I was pressing the gas. My instructor was like, stop. No. You're not supposed to do that because you're digging when you're stuck. You're digging rather than moving. You see, when you challenge yourself, you have to dig in place to know that you can get help to get unstuck. You see, when I was stuck in this place, stuck in this position, my instructor told me something that I wasn't even aware of. He said, put your foot on the brake. Now put your foot on the gas. In the car, you have a gas pedal and a brake pedal. He said, put your foot on the brake and put your other foot on the brake. So now I have both of my feet on the gas pedal, and the brake pedal. And so he say, press the brake pedal. All right, I'm pressing it. He said, now press the gas pedal. I'm like, okay. So as I'm pressing it, I'm not pressing it hard. So I'm just pressing it. He said, nah, bro, like put some gas to it. So I said, okay. So I'm pressing it. He was like, okay, now turn the wheel. And so what this does is that it lock your wheel in place. And as it's locking your wheel in place, it's moving just a little bit rather than just constantly moving. So when you lock your wheel in place and you give it gas, you're kind of drifting. Like you're kind of like drifting your car. Kind of like Fast and Furious, you're kind of drifting your car. So my foot is on the brake, my gas is my foot is on the gas pedal, and I'm turning the wheel. That's not doing nothing. That's not doing nothing. So then the other truck that was following us, he go get the towing, and he tow the front. So now he's telling me to put your foot on the brake, put your foot on the gas, and keep turning the wheel. And now I'm giving assistance to the other truck and how they're helping us. So as I'm doing this, I feel the truck move just a little bit. He said, man, keep going. I feel it move it just a little bit further. And he said, keep going, man, you moving. As I'm doing it, I'm getting guidance. As I'm accepting the challenge, he's helping me get out the challenge. So as I'm moving, he said, man, keep doing it because you almost there. And then after he said that, we got unstuck. You see, when you have guidance and you get help, the people who are on the outside of your challenge, they're able to guide you accordingly in a place where you're stuck. You're stuck because you don't know how to get out of what you're doing. You're stuck because you don't have help. You're stuck because people are not helping you in the correct way. You see, when you challenge yourself, you have to be willing to not know everything, so the ones who know everything or the ones who know more than you can help you get unstuck. You see, when you get unstuck, now you can continue to accept the challenge. Now you can continue to challenge yourself because you have somebody that's here that's going to help you push forward. You see, if you got value from this, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that way you can get additional videos, additional topics, additional conversations to not only help you be the best you, but to show why you can be the best you. And if you got value from this, what is the biggest takeaway from this live on how you are going to start challenging yourself, and why does that matter? Why is that important? Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like and leave in the comments your biggest takeaway on how you're going to start challenging yourself, or leave in the comments your biggest takeaway on the importance of challenging yourself. I would love to read it. I would love to engage with you all. I appreciate you all, and I'll see y'all next time.